Hi friends, it's Curious Cicada here, and I am so excited to share with you my January setup. First off, Happy New Year everyone! I'm so excited to start 2021. I think we all can all agree that 2020 needs to just die in a hole somewhere. I guess that's a little aggressive, but man, this year was a doozy. So, when I was trying to figure out what quote I wanted to start off my year, I got thinking that, at the beginning of 2020, everyone was everyone was saying, "Oh, it's the roaring 20s again. It's going to be great. We're going to do all this great stuff." And I feel like that kind of got thrown in our faces. So, this year I wanted to focus on myself and kind of like personal growth. So, this quote is one day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. That's from Bren Brown, and it was super inspiring to read that on Pinterest. So, when I read that, it reminded me a little bit of the Great Depression. And obviously, 2020 wasn't nearly as bad as that, but it got me thinking that, there are some similarities. Like, they were not expecting to have their lives totally flipped up on their heads. And I'm sure that a lot of them were scared and worried that the world would never go back to how it used to be. And now here we are, and we read about those stories and listen to our relatives talk about them, and they're just so inspiring. And, that's what I want for 2020. I want us to take 2021 by the horns, remember everything that we learned and all of the crazy experiences we had last year, and I want us to grow from it. We can get through it and everything will go back to normal. It'll be okay. Just like how everything sorted itself out in the end back in the Great Depression. And that'll happen here too. It'll all turn out good, and we're going to look back and tell everyone these stories of how we got through it and how we're better from it. So, one of my favorite things that happened in 2020, even though it was crazy, was Taylor Swift. She gave us two brand new albums, and man, they are wonderful. I listened to those on repeat all day when I was quarantined, and it was just wonderful. It got me through so much stress. And so this year, starting off 2021, I wanted to pick out one of my favorite things from 2020 and bring that into the new year. Let's send all the good things forward and leave all the bad things behind. So, if you haven't seen Taylor Swift's music video for her song Willow, you should stop this right now, go watch it, and come back, and everything will make so much more sense then. But even if you haven't seen it and you're not going to, I still think this theme is really, really beautiful. In her video, she has kind of an ethereal, whimsical mood, and in part of it, she goes to a fire, and there are all these people dancing around these magical lights that are in the sky. And I just thought that was such a wonderful mood to bring into 2021. Just that we can look up to new things, better things, and, just everything will work out. I keep telling myself that, so it better work out. So, if you're confused about what these little lights are, that's what they are. I had so much fun designing these. When her video came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to draw that! And so I spent like 10 minutes just trying to figure out my favorite design for them, and I knew right away I wanted to do something like this in my bullet journal. And, I'm so glad that I did. I used my Crayola Super Tips here, and the reason it has little blue tape on there is because I got so annoyed trying to figure out which color was which when they don't have names. So I taped a little piece of tape on each one of them and numbered them. So now I have a swatching sheet with all the colors numbered, so I won't pick up the wrong one ever again, unless I'm just being silly, and then that's my own fault. So yeah, I thought that the typewriter kind of font would look really great, and I love how it turned out. Her music video was kind of like vintage vibes, and I wanted to bring that in. I thought it was kind of cute adding little bits of um, smudged ink around the letters. And, you know, I don't know, is it a little too cheesy? I kind of like it. But I wanted these lights to kind of glow, so that's why I'm putting lots of little marks around them in the yellow. And afterwards, I mean, you saw in the intro, but I ended up adding some of my FinTech gold watercolor over top. And man, it looked gorgeous after that. I wasn't sure if I would like it, so I made the mistake of not recording me watercoloring over it. And man, I'm sorry because it's just so pretty at the end. You know, I like it now with all the yellow and the bronze, but just that gold brings it to a whole nother level. I got the idea from Plant-Based Bride, and in 2020 she used so much gold watercolor in her bullet journal, and I don't think I could commit to that much, but I wanted to sprinkle a little bit in with mine because, you know, it's just so gorgeous. And I thought that this year I would keep it pretty simple because in 2020, even though I had nothing to do, I still ended up getting a little overwhelmed with my bullet journal. I think I was just making too many spreads per month, and it didn't really seem worth it because I wasn't really using them. I wasn't doing anything, nothing was planned. So this year, I decided to go back to the bare minimum, which is why, as you watch this, you will see that I only really have like 3 or 4 spreads, which, I mean, I guess that's not that few. But in December, I had like 8 spreads, and man, that was just overwhelming. I had a full spread per week, and you know, it's sad, but I had maybe two little tasks in each day, and it was just depressing. So this year, well, January at least, I might go back, but January I decided to just keep it small and not overwhelm myself, because who needs that kind of negativity in the beginning of a new year? Not me. What are your plans for January 2021? Are you trying to fill a bunch of stuff in to encourage yourself, or are you just like me and you want to not overwhelm yourself, not crowd the year? I think either way is a good way to handle it. We all have a lot of different coping mechanisms, and you know, as long as they're healthy, there's nothing wrong with them. I think that we have figured out how to manage ourselves in this world and this day and age where sometimes we're super social, sometimes we're not social at all. And, you know, I think that's fine. We all have different needs, and once you learn that about yourself, then you are a lot happier. I mean, I learned that I have a lot more fun and relaxation when I can just boom, 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 get stuff done in like one day. And then the next couple days, I can just chill. And like, my husband has a hard time with that. He likes to space it out, do a little at a time. But, you know, I think we're good at finding a happy medium. He will speed clean with me when I need it, and then when he's done, I can stop and we can do it the next day. You know, I'm sorry. I guess I was supposed to be talking about like what I was doing in this video the whole time, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, I did these little numbers to look kind of like typewriter stuff, but I also got kind of lazy, so I didn't really want to look up what the numbers look like. So there's that. But I think they turned out pretty okay. You know, I mean, they're teeny. So how bad could they be? Don't answer that. But yeah, I missed a little bit of footage there. I'm using a GoPro to record, and sometimes like it records everything, but then sometimes when I try to upload the video, it's like we can't upload it, and I'm like, why? Everything else worked. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But so far, nothing essential has been taken out, so we're just gonna roll with it. So yeah, I really had fun with these little floating lights. They remind me a little bit of Tangled. And I know they don't look like the lights there, but just the same like feeling. They kind of made me want to go out stargazing and, have some s'mores and drink hot chocolate around a fire. And, those are things that I can actually do now. We recently moved to an area where, it's still cold during winter, but it's warm enough that you can still like spend time outside and do things that are fun. As long as you have a heavy jacket, you're good. So I'm excited to, give our fire pit a try and just have fun, because the people that we can spend time with, close family, people that we are not quarantining from, those people I want to spend a lot of extra time with in January, because I feel like in 2020 we were kind of forced to spend a lot of time with each other, and that was good. But sometimes we're just seeing it I was just seeing it as, oh man, we're stuck inside. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, this is horrible. I guess I love my husband, but like, you get tired of just spending time with each other all day. So this year I want to really just take advantage of the time that we have together, because everything will go back to normal eventually, probably sooner than we realize. And I don't want to miss out on this time to just get to know each other more and bond. And we're married, so we are already bonded and know each other, but there's always more that you can learn. Everyone's growing and changing, especially with this dramatic year. I'm sure everyone is a lot different than they were before, and that's totally fine. It just means that, taking an extra hour or so to just talk to the other person and say, hey, how are you doing? Like, are you still looking forward to this? Are you worried about it? And just checking in with your family and loved ones, because, it was hard for everyone. And sometimes with being stuck at home, we can focus a little too much on ourselves, which that just brings us down and makes us focus on the negativity, and nobody needs that. I know I don't. I made that mistake. I'm done with that mistake. I'm going to move forward. So let's all together just work on ourselves and get to know the others around us and appreciate them for the new, beautiful person that they are. I know that a lot of people leave brain dumps out of their journals. And I'm curious, because I know that everyone uses spreads differently, but I've always used the brain dump as kind of like a journal page. Like, in past months, I've had the line a day spread, which was really great, but also, like, it's kind of boring to write, I had noodles today. It was fun. Like, I don't want to write something every day, especially with 2020. There was a lot of days when we didn't do much. So I prefer the brain dump just because I can write down when I have a lot on my mind. I can just, dump it. I can throw it on there, like vomit my emotions and just everything I'm worried about. And then when the month is over, I can leave it all behind. It's great. In the past, I journaled a lot, but I also just feel obligated to write like 5 pages every time I open my journal and catch whoever's reading my journal up on my life and what's been going on, which is kind of exhausting. So I still have my journal for like big events, things that I want my kids to be able to read and go, oh, I remember her saying that, or I remember her talking about that. But for just my worries and my complaints about life, future people don't need to read that. So I can just stick it in my bullet journal. And maybe they'll read it, but it's not my journal, so they can't judge me for it, right? Right. Anyway, that's what I use my brain dump for. If you have a different way you use yours, I would love to hear it. Um, I know a lot of people use it for like ideas and brainstorming, and I think that would be a really great use for like if you have a job where you're planning things all the time. That would be pretty sweet. So I know I'm mentioning a lot of YouTubers, but they're just all so great. So I was watching Shada Campbell's YouTube videos, and she has done a lot of Dutch doors lately, which at first I was like, I don't want to waste pages. What? But during December, I had full page spreads for each week. And even though December is supposed to be like the busiest month ever, I just did not have the time or energy to write in those. And when I did need to write in them, I just like it was easier for me to just throw things onto my brain dump instead. And so this month, I decided to go with something a lot more condensed so that I wouldn't have to worry about preparing a new week every week. And if I didn't get around to it, I wouldn't get to use it. So, yeah, I decided to do the Dutch door style, which I think I'm really enjoying so far. I'm able to see each week just at a glance, and then if I need to like look back at past weeks, it's really easy to. I know I'm posting this a little late. We're already in January, but I figured that I would want to show you my January setup after I've used it a bit, so I can talk to you about what's been working and what hasn't. For example, I've really been loving the Dutch doors. I can see everything at a glance, I can flip the pages, and I've also been really loving these little habit trackers. I ended up writing the dates on the little calendar on the left instead of the ones on the right, and that has been so great. I can look at the date really fast and easy, and I can do it all in one little spot. It's been awesome. If you want to try them, definitely do it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me with my January setup. It was so fun to do all this with you. And here's the gold I was talking about. Man, I'm kicking myself for not recording that. It's just ended up so beautiful. Well, now I know for next time to record every time I decide to do something. Like if I want to change it up, because I wasn't sure if I would like it, and I didn't want anyone to see it if I didn't like it. But I guess I should always assume that if I have an idea, it might actually be a good one. So here's the end result, and I just you know it's a good spread when you open up your bullet journal and you just want to flip and just look at each page. So thank you again for joining me. I will be back next week with a pen pal video, and I hope you join me then. All right. Bye-bye, friends. See you next week.